Welcome to Author Timeline Thursday with a quote from General George Patton. Beautiful quote. A good plan vigorously executed right now is far better than a perfect plan executed tomorrow. Or next week. Sorry, next week. Ain't that the truth? It's so easy to get ourselves trapped on someday island where we think about all this amazing stuff we're going to write and all this amazing stuff we're going to do, and yet we don't do any of it because we're too busy hanging out on the couch, watching our favorite show, and just eating whatever our favorite food is and drinking our favorite drink as we're just laying there in the comfort zone where everything is warm and cozy and always lovely. Nothing can happen. Nothing positive can happen there, at least, because we can't grow. It's impossible. We're not willing to move an inch. Hi there. My name is Christopher Diarmani. It is my pleasure. It is my passion to empower aspiring Christian nonfiction writers to create their book, to create to tell the story of their trauma to triumph journey using a complete, detailed roadmap for writing success, so they can make the impact they know they were born to make in this world. So they can make the impact. That's why we're all here. We're here to serve. We're here to help other people. And for you and me, that pathway is through writing our book. So decisive action is always preferable to this prolonged deliberation, this prolonged procrastination that it's so easy to get caught up in. Your outline, it'll never be perfect. It'll never be finished, if you will. But it will always be at a point where you can start writing. I don't care if you've written down 4 minutes worth of stuff. You have enough to get started. And that's the thing that we tend to not want to believe. We want to believe that, well, it has to be 800 pages long and it needs to be beautiful and all the ideas laid out perfectly. No! That's where the first draft comes in. All this stuff is going to magically come to you if you just get started. That outline can't possibly be perfect because the process of writing your book, the process of going through all the research required to make sure that the things that you know in your heart are actually backed up by studies, by facts, scientific facts, all that kind of stuff. Your outline is going to be informed by all those other factors that you don't know yet. So that's why it can't be perfect. And even when you do all that work, it's never going to be perfect because there's always one more study, there's one more thing to figure out, one more thing to check on. And it's really easy to get caught up in that procrastination trap of, well, if I just have the perfect citation, everything will be great. Use the citation that you have. It's perfect. It really is. So stop doing the writing equivalent of shuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic. Start doing the things that will actually guarantee your success. Sit down and write. It's a really great one. Make a decision. Just make one decision. I'm going to write for 5 minutes today. That sounds like nothing, and yet that decision is pretty good, pretty cool. But the decision alone isn't enough. You must take immediate, effective action to make that dream statement you just made, I'm going to write for 5 minutes, to make that real. You have to take action to make that happen. And then simply repeat that. Repeat it later today, write for another 5 minutes later today. Schedule some writing time on your calendar. Write for 5 minutes or 15 minutes or an hour, whatever it is that works for you. Schedule that on your calendar. When that appointed hour hits, show up, whether you feel like it or not, and write. Amazing things happen when you just show up and do the work. Your finished book becomes inevitable. And I'm a huge fan of anything that makes my writing a book inevitable. Huge fan. This simple 3-step process reduces procrastination by focusing you on the task at hand, on building that forward momentum that is so essential for your book to get written, published, and out into the world where it can make the impact that you know you were born to make. You wouldn't be here watching me talking about this stuff if you weren't. You simply wouldn't. You'd have something better to do. But this is the best thing to do for you because, like me, writing your book is the only thing that matters. It really is. So the beauty of a daily writing habit is it removes a couple of questions that so many of us have if we're just left to our own devices. Well, will I even write today? I don't know. But the fact that it's scheduled on my calendar means there's an appointment set with myself. And that appointment means I should probably show up and do the thing I scheduled to do with myself at that time, right? So it takes away that question. Will I write today? Yeah, of course, because it's scheduled on my calendar. 4 o'clock Pacific, that's when I'm writing for an hour every day, no matter what. Your scheduled writing session also removes the question of, well, when will I write today? Because you already know it's on the calendar, right? Those two things, building that daily habit, knowing exactly what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, whether you feel like it or not, because there's plenty of days you don't feel like writing. So what? It's a first draft. Get it out, even if you don't feel like it. Because until you get that first draft finished, you can't possibly publish a book. Because that's the first major milestone of writing your book, getting that first draft done. Present action is always better than that myth of future perfection. Well, if I just am a better writer, if I just have a little more time, if I'm not doing so stressed out because of work, if I'm like we can list these things out endlessly. And the point is, none of those things actually matter. Do what's put in front of you to do, and your published book becomes inevitable. Yes, all those other challenges are going to be there. That may not change. So what? Does that mean you shouldn't do the thing that God put on your heart to do? I don't think so. I really don't. Your habit, backed by that scheduled time to write, makes your completed book inevitable, as I said. Your imperfect but finished first draft today is that first major milestone on getting your book across the finish line of Publication Highway. It truly is. Your imperfect but finished first draft, with all its duct tape and baling wire holding all the pieces together, that's the thing that makes the book possible, makes the book inevitable. Proverbs 3:28, beautiful, tells us, "Do not say to your neighbor, 'Go and come back tomorrow and I will give it,' when you have it with you now." Your prompt and timely action today, right now, that's the thing that's going to move you forward. Not this future promise of, well, I'm too busy, I don't feel like it, there's all these other things I have to do today, the kids have these problems, my wife or my husband or whatever it is has other these problems, my job is X, who cares? I'll make it all up on Saturday. I got nothing planned for Saturday, I'll make up all those words on Saturday. It's a beautiful thought. It's also a beautiful lie. And the one thing I never want you to do is to be lying to yourself about your writing. Not ever. This is where we actually have to face the hard truths that I really do need to sit down, do the thing that's put in front of me to do today, whether I feel like it or not. Whether I feel like it or not. It's always, your prompt action today is always better than that perfect action you're going to take at some point in the future. Because inevitably, once you hit that mythical point, whatever, like the Saturday example, when Saturday comes, guess what? There's going to be other things demanding on your time as well. And so that 5 days worth of writing you're going to cram into a single day is now kicked down to the curb even further. And all that time, your book is stranded on someday island. All that time. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me. I want us to get these things completed, finished, out in the world. I want us to all make that impact that we know we were born to make. We wouldn't have this book on our heart to write if that wasn't true. Right? We wouldn't. So I would also love for you to connect with me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on all the platforms you see on the screen there. Go to writingcoach.pro/Christopher. Connect with me there. I would love to talk with you. I'd love to just share some of your journey with you.